就是这个我们最近都听到的这个中共提到的这个hypersonic 这个超音速导弹的这个，特别是它是反舰导弹，应该是叫CM302。那这个导弹系统呢，就是它的作用就是第一个是除了速度特别快，第二个就是它对同一个舰船大概能发射10几20颗同时，这就有一定的可能性会过载这些船上的这个反导弹系统。那么这就使得伊朗这个有真正可以可能真正打击到美国舰船的能力。那第二点呢，就是这个可能有这个一定的报告说，这个伊朗现在也在提供这个，中共正在给伊朗提供这个反这个隐身的这个战机的这种雷达。那么这个隐身这个战机的雷达，它实际上到底能不能起作用还不知道，但是这也是一个变数，那么有可能会使得这个打击能力变得更加困难。那么第三个实际上就是大家很熟悉的，就是智能鱼雷和智能水雷两个不同的系统。那么这个智能鱼雷就是 AI 控制的智能鱼雷，它可能会分辨这个战舰和这个民船，那么可能就被伊朗使用去攻击在这个附近的这个美国军舰。第二个呢，就是智能水雷。智能水雷呢，就可以被这个伊朗的大肆的布置在这个战争区域，这也会给美国的舰船带来很大的风险。那么一种考虑因素就是必须在伊朗获得这些能力之前就尽早的开始打击。如果等伊朗获得这些能力，他肯定就会迅速的开发核能力，因为除了开发核能力，这实际上都是一些跟核能力配套的这个威慑系统。一旦等伊朗有了这些能力和核能力以后，那再打击伊朗就变得非常困难了。I finished.
So one of the problems with Iran is the fact that one of their tenets of existence, in other words, what they say their purpose is they chant this over and over again at many different rallies or different speeches. They say death to the United States, death to Israel, and they have intentions of trying to destroy Israel. Now, if it was just about the Middle East, the United States would probably not get involved. But Iran threatens not only the Middle East, but also Europe with these long-range missiles that it has, ballistic missiles. They can range into Europe. And they were developing technology to reach potentially beyond Europe, even to strike the United States. So Iran is an ally of China, and Israel and the Gulf states are allies or friends of the United States. There's no specific agreement that the United States has with Israel or the Gulf states that say it will protect them. But Israel and the Gulf states are friendly to the United States. And most of the countries in the Gulf and Israel also have relations with China. But what they don't understand is that China is supporting Iran's activities, which include the Houthis, which have harassed shipping in the Red Sea, which include Iran's support of Hezbollah, which have been conducting terrorist attacks and missile strikes against Israel. And China has helped Hamas against Israel, supplying, again, technology and training to its military or its armed wing of Hamas. So through Iran, China is conducting terrorism. And so this is part of the reason, in my mind, that Iran is a threat not only to Israel, but to the Gulf states, to Europe, and to the United States. And its sole purpose seems to be to invest in military technology, military weapon systems, without investing in its people. The Iranian people have suffered for almost 50 years because the Iranian government, the Islamic Iranian government, has put all its money, all its investments in developing missiles and supporting terrorist groups in the Middle East. And so, in some respects, the United States and Israel and the Gulf countries needed to put a stop to this threat, because without putting a stop to it, Iran would have become too powerful, and it would have been a much more dangerous action to stop them in the future. Please.
这个杰奈斯上校介绍了一下这次打击的其实背后的另一层这个逻辑，其实就是首先我们都知道伊朗的立场和他的意向是非常明确的，因为在无数次的集会和这个伊朗的节目中，伊朗都会提到以色列去死，美国去死。那么实际上这个伊朗对这个的威胁并不仅仅是针对以色列，它实际上也针对其他海湾国家。但是这个以色列海湾国家和美国，特别是海湾国家和美国并没有一个防守同盟。但是实际上伊朗现在马上就要取得的是一个长程的导弹能力，这个长程的导弹能力就威胁的不仅仅是海湾国家，而威胁的主要是欧洲，甚至威胁到美国，直接威胁到美国。所以那么我们知道这个伊朗它现在不仅是有意向，它同时也在快速发展它的能力，因为我们都知道这个伊朗它把它的这个很多的资金和投入实际上都是投入在这个军事科技，而不是在民生方面。所以说这是为什么伊朗的经济它的民生受到很大的这个伤害，人民生活在水深火热当中。那么这个就是因为伊朗将它的投资全部引导到了这个军事方面，而不是民生。那么随着时间的增长，伊朗会变得越来越强大。那么它一旦有了意向，也具有了更强大的能力，那么这种威胁就会由虚转实。所以要随着时间的进展，必须要赶紧将这种过程斩断。那么实际上这保护的不仅仅是以色列，而是整个海湾、欧洲，甚至是美国。I finished.
Just Luda, can I make one more point, and then I'll take your question? Okay.
OK
路德先生，吉奈斯先生想继续说完，然后再回答你下一个问题，可以吗？
可以，No problem.
OK. No hurry.
So there's a famous quote from the Talmud, and a lot of Chinese people appreciate the Jewish traditions, specifically from the Talmud, which is a book of discussing the laws. And the quote is, if someone comes to kill you, rise up and kill him first. And this is the reason why it's important that the United States and Israel attacked Iran, because they had plans to attack Israel and to attack the US and to attack anybody that got in their way. And so you don't want your enemy to get strong enough to kill you. If you know they want to kill you, then you need to strike first. And this applies to China. Please translate.
OK， 这个在这里，这个吉奈斯先生应该是在回答这个第二部分，就是对于未来的这个震慑是什么呢？实际上，这以色列的这个传统应该他刚提到是塔木德，这个里面有一句话是说，如果你知道某人要杀你的话，你最好提前反击这个有点像是中国的先发制人后发制于人的类似的意思。那么就是说，他说这一点是对伊朗是现在已经看到我们是基于此行动的。那这个同样这个原则也适用于对中国、对中共。不好意思。
So this is the reason. Okay. So this is the reason why the U.S. Is attacking Iran, because it's part of the China conspiracy to destroy the United States.
这就是为什么以色列要这个反击伊朗，因为他知道这是中共的一个大的这个阴谋之一，来伤害美国的阴谋之一。
Luda, please.
好的，这个，所以啊，就是第三点啊，第三个问题，就是说这个美以现在联合军事行动进行了13天，伊朗现在政权依然还没有投降。中共的文宣这2天在铺垫说伊朗有脏弹啊，虽然没有核弹，但是有脏弹，因为它有60%的这个浓缩铀嘛。如果伊朗最终丧心病狂对以色列投脏弹，或者中东其他国家啊，美国和以色列是否挡得住伊朗这个举动？怎么来解这个难题？胡博士。
The third question is after 13 days of joint U.S. Israeli military operations, the Iranian regime still has not surrendered, and the CCP propaganda machine has been laying the groundwork for claim that the Iran may use the dirty bomb. If the Iran automatically acts irrationally and launch a dirty bomb against Israel, would the United States and Israel be able to stop or defend against such attack?
So, fortunately or unfortunately, Israel is prepared for all kinds of warfare, including chemical and biological and nuclear war. And this is part of the problem of living next to neighbors that want to destroy you. So on the defense side, Israel is prepared. If Iran does use something like that, and whether it's a nuclear, chemical, or biological weapon, I'm sure that they know that they will receive the same in kind. And so I'm not sure that they would be willing to do that. But if they did, they will face the consequences of using such a weapon, because they know that for sure the United States has nuclear weapons, and they suspect that Israel does too. So if they use a dirty bomb, that could be the end of Iran. I mean, literally the end of Iran. So I think up to this point, they might use some dirty tricks. They might cause terrorist attacks in the United States against innocent Jews. They might do terrorist attacks in Europe. They might encourage Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis and some of their groups in Iraq to do things. But I think they understand that if they use something like that, it will be very traumatic. And I also think that China probably would discourage them from doing that, because if they did that, all the oil would stop coming out of Iran. It would be completely obliterated. And so it would hurt China also. Please.
好，首先的话就是伊朗他应该是知道这个美国是有核反击的能力的，另外他可能也猜测这个以色列也是有核反击的能力的。那么在这样的情况下吉耐狮上校是他觉得伊朗可能是会非常小心，甚至要慎重考虑，如果他想对这个以色列使用脏弹攻击的话，如果他使用脏弹或者是比如说生武器其他这种攻击的话，那么他们很可能就不是现在这样被打击，而可能是被彻底从地球上抹除。那么另一层的关系是，可能他背后的中共也不会愿意他这么做，因为如果伊朗这么做了，中共很清楚他们可能遭受的结果就是彻底一点油都不可能再从这个波斯湾拿到。 那如果这样的话，那实际上对中共也是一个非常大的打击。那考虑到这些非常沉重的报复的话，所以他觉得伊朗可能会非常慎重考虑这个事情。I finish.
And I think this goes back again to China, because from what I've read so far is some of the ships carrying oil are being allowed both by Iran and the United States to go to China. Not as much as that was being shipped before the war. I think it's down quite a bit, maybe half. So it's clear to me that China is trying to control the level of fighting between Iran and the United States. And they understand that if Iran escalates with a dirty bomb, that there will be no oil going to China from the Middle East. It will be shut down. Because I believe that the U.S. People and many in the government understand that China does have a leverage over Iran and can influence their decisions, because China is the main supporter in money to the Iranian government. Without China, Iran ceases to have any kind of functioning financial or economic ability to feed its people and to function. So if Iran used a dirty bomb, it would be because they're stupid and they just want to destroy not only themselves but the entire country of Iran. So China plays heavily in this game, and the United States, I believe, understands that China does have a vote with Iran. And I believe that China also understands that the United States is slowly but surely retaking back the areas of the world that the U.S. Used to control and needs to control in order to contain China's desire to control the world. The U.S. took back the Panama Canal. The U.S. Changed the leader in Venezuela. The U.S. is now reducing the power of the Islamic regime inside Iran, so that it's no longer a threat to the region, and potentially having a nuclear weapon. And so these are all things that affect China, not only through oil, but through the Belt and Road Initiative. It helps countries like India, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Israel, through the IMEC program that will allow equivalent of a Belt and Road Initiative going from India through the Middle East to Europe. It'll also allow the Middle East countries to not live in fear of Iran. And so there's a lot of positive reasons why Iran needs to be removed. The Iranian government needs to be removed from power, or at least greatly reduced in power. And this is why I think it's important that this war be done in a way so that in the future Iran won't be a threat, because it acts like a threat and it conducts itself and its supporters as a threat. Please.
这个可能也是这个伊朗为什么这个现在必须被至少他的这个政府和他的这个管理层要比较清楚的一个原因，就是伊朗对这个的威胁实际上是非常大的。但是这个继续刚才那个问题，就是 伊朗会不可能会使用脏弹？因为这个我们已知这个战争开始以后，这个原油的运出已经减少了对中共的可能已经减少了50%以上。那么中共知道，如果伊朗使用了脏弹的话，那这就不是减少50%，可能是彻底消失这部分原油的问题。所以说，他认为可能中共此时此刻也并不愿意伊朗和美国的冲突继续升级，因为这对他自己的利益也不利。主要是因为石油的原因，同时也看得出这个美国不仅仅是对这个霍尔木兹海峡，实际上对委内瑞拉、巴拿马这些都有控制，这些对它的这个石油的影响越来越大，所以他还必须慎重考虑这个问题。而这个伊朗本身，实际上对整个区域的稳定都有非常大的威胁，这也是现在选择将他的这个政权清除或者极大减少它的威胁是一个明智之举。
好
I finished.
Just one more thing. I'd just like to point out the results, for example, of removing the leader of Venezuela. The result is the oil coming out of Venezuela used to go to Cuba to support that communist regime, is no longer going there. And consequently, the people in Cuba are now complaining against the government and causing problems for the Cuban government. And the Cuban government, as we know, is also supported by Russia and China. And from Cuba, China spies on the United States. So these actions that the Trump administration has done has put pressure on all the countries that have supported communism or Russia. And so I think these things are all good in terms of challenging the Chinese Communist Party's global ambitions. Please, thank you.
好，另外一点，吉耐斯上校提到就是这个要知道委内瑞拉也给古巴供油，而古巴也是一个共产主义国家。那么现在失去委内瑞拉的原油以后，古巴的这个共产主义政权也受到了很多民众的挑战和这个抱怨。那么要知道古巴也是中共全球布局的一个重要一环。那实际上这也沉重的打击了这个中共的这个全球的这个布局，这是他加的一点。
好，这个接下来一个问题啊，你看今天啊，刚刚说一枚伊朗的导弹瞄准了位于土耳其的北约英奇利克空军基地啊，该基地继续存储着美国的 B61核弹。然后呢，我就问啊，接下来北约包括土耳其，还有包括阿塞拜疆但阿塞拜疆不属于北约，但是我们就是阿塞拜疆，比如库尔德力量以及巴基斯坦这些，你觉得有没有可能会加入对伊朗的地面军事行动？胡博士。
So first question is there's a breaking news that the Turkish there's a missile just aimed at Turkish U.S. military air base, and there's that air base that stored the missile that is potentially is a B-61 nuclear missile. So that kind of is a threat to the Turkish. So the question is, in the future, is it possible that NATO, including Turkey, as well as the Kurdish force, Azerbaijan, or even Pakistan, would join a ground operation against Iran?
So Turkey has been friendly to Iran. And has not outwardly supported the United States, except perhaps by allowing U.S. Air Force aircraft to fly in and out of the base there, the Incirlik base in Turkey. And that's probably the reason why Iran launched a missile against that base. to hit the U.S. Air Force aircraft and assets that are there. And luckily, the Turks and NATO and the U.S. have air defense assets nearby to protect the base. And so it didn't cause any problems. But just like the countries closer to Iran on the Gulf side, countries like the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and even Saudi Arabia, they've all been attacked by lots of drones and lots of missiles, cruise and ballistic missiles. So Turkey, I don't see Turkey helping invade Iran unless it wants to take more territory. But that territory would be highly concentrated of Kurdish people, and the Kurdish people have been oppressed for a long time. They're the largest minority in the Middle East without a country. There are about 25 million Kurds living in Turkey, living in Syria, Iraq, and Iran. That's where the majority live. And so if Turkey were to invade Iran, they would be invading the north, which has more Kurds, and the Kurds have been a problem for the Turks since the beginning of Turkey in the early 1900s, when Ataturk established the new country of Turkey. So I don't see them doing much. Regarding Pakistan, first please translate.
好，首先关于这个土耳其人，可能他们如果他们要采取地面行动，那他们肯定是得有领土的企图的。那么这点可能更多是关于这个库尔德人，因为库尔德人实际上是横跨土耳其的还有伊拉克的北部、叙利亚，还有伊朗的西部这些所谓的库尔德地区。那么如果土耳其想要攻击的话，地面行动的话，那么可能在领土方面可能和库尔德人这一部分会有一定的关系然后他下一步再分析这个帕基斯坦。
One more point about Turkey is that Iran was the missile attack that Iran did against the air base in Turkey was a message to Turkey to stop allowing U.S. military from using bases in Turkey to strike Iran. That's the message. So that's just the context. And I don't think Turkey is going to get involved unless
sorry,
Iran
just hear that part. Could you repeat that again?
Oh,
sorry, I didn't
hear. Sure. The message that Iran is sending to Turkey by sending a missile or two at the airbase was to tell Turkey to stop helping the U.S. with its war against Iran. That's the message. That's the message that they've been sending actually everywhere. The problem is that Iran is also striking civilian targets, hotels, airports, oil infrastructure, gas infrastructure. So it's lost the perception that it's just striking military targets. So that's the Turkish story. Please.
另外一点就是金奈士上校认为他们发射导弹可能最主要的还是给土耳其发送一个信息，就是不要帮助美国和以色列。那么实际上这个信息他们给各个海湾国家都会发送，这也是为什么他认为可能土耳其并没有被特别的针对，然后可能也不一定会采取进一步的反制措施。 这可能是一个主要的原因。I finished.
Now, regarding Pakistan, Pakistan has nuclear weapons, and Pakistan